Hey guys, this is Rurouni K95 here, and today I want to be doing another discussion video that I haven't thought of doing one like this before because I really wanted to do something that I haven't thought of doing one before, which I should have done until now. I'm here to be talking about a discussion about where I'm going through by genres on that I have are on DVDs as well as VHSs, VCDs, and well, to top that off, well, then came Blu Rays as well. So today, I'm going to be discussing about this on here, about how I wanted to go through the DVD, VHS, VCD, and Blu Ray collection, just to get you a little heads up on that, especially, like, I'm going through under genres as well. Well, you know what I mean, particularly as well. Especially the ones that I have wanted to come by for this as well, accordingly. One of the most things for that is that for having your own little confidence of how that you were knowing of how you wanted to, particularly going through the titles by genres. I mean, just to give you a little heads up on that. It's just particularly of how you're knowing, particularly of how you're wanting to come by on, well, excuse me. So, it all particularly means is that as how I want to come by for you're going through genres on there, like that you have on your collection, right? And on top of that is this, that you're knowing as how you're basically of how wanting to, how it goes for your confidential thing of how you're going through genres. Like, say for example, like, I have the DVD of every one of them, same thing going under the genres on here, whether it be under movies, TV shows, as well as cartoons, as well, particularly, in general. So, as well as some documentary films on there. Yeah, let's not forget about these as well. And the whole collection of what you have in this particularly, of how you wanted to having your own little maintainable thing of how you wanted to come by on doing a thing for this as well, because just to help me have particularly got the funds of the help of how they're, yeah, let's say for example on here you have some genres under movies and TV series on there in general, on there particularly. Like say for example, you want on go through on there like some holiday specials, Christmas movies. Well, it counts under holiday films on there, as well as documentary films, as well as on any subjects, on any matter as well, accordingly, in the whole possible thing. And most of them, particularly of how you want to go through under the genres as well, just to knowing for the fact of how there's most of them as well. And just to let you all know for this, there's also other genres like action, there's comedy, there's romance, there's indie movies, foreign films, as well as fantasy, sci-fi, horror, action. There's any types of action. There's like action adventure, action horror, sci-fi action, action comedies as well. And there's also some westerns on there included. There's most of them, like, not just the regular westerns, there's also, like, spaghetti westerns, spaghetti western comedies, and other types of films and stuff. There's also horror comedy, there's sci-fi horror, and there's also cannibal horror movies. There's also any types of the subgenres. There's also Italian horror movies, like under European horror. There's also Asian horror. Like there's most of them in general of its kind. There's all same with holiday slasher horror as well as slasher comedy under horror comedies on there or whatever it is as well. And there's also some anime on there particularly. Well, yeah, because most of them on there, despite I have a lot of them on there, like especially like I have my anime collection in the past as well, because I really wanted to figure out a way of how it got to my own little helpful things of how you're expecting to hold the whole to the point of view of how I wanted to go through under genres as well. It's like you're particularly of how you're basically want to know for this. Let's take on there. For example, like under the movie genres, like let's say for example, like I have this copy of Persepolis on DVD. I think this goes particularly in the foreign films section as well, if you're asking me as well. That's how I wanted to come by for this quick. There's many obvious comedy movies on here, like your teen comedies. There's also some drama in there. There's most drama in some movies. There's also some drama in TV shows also, whether it's from the 70s, 80s, or the 90s, or the 2000s. If you're asking me, there's also some superheroes also that were depicted in animation, like most significantly like Western animation. Like when I mean Western animation, cartoons. That's the thing of how I want to come to researching it. My own little alibi of well. There's some superheroes, particularly in movies as well as television. It doesn't matter if it's from like indie comics or DC or Marvel as well. Well, there's some Marvel under movies under the superhero category genre as well, like in movies as well as television series. Most significantly, one of them of its kind. There's also most of them out there, and they're basically as well. Well, there are many obvious movies that are available, that are particularly. Some of them were not under copyrights, like the ones that are all in public domain as well. Especially like you could expect seeing from these like movie film pack sets, like from Mill Creek. It doesn't matter if it's like horror. There's also sci-fi movies on there. There's also spaghetti western film pack sets on here. But I know, well, there are many obvious ones as well, particularly of how you want to come by for this as well, accordingly. Like, say for example, because I have some that are on DVDs, that some of them were like available on these like multi-movie set packs on those bargain DVD sets that are from Mill Creek Entertainment, especially in these spaghetti western film pack DVDs on here. Let's say for example, like I have a DVD copy. Like I wanted to come by for this as well. Like really quick. Hold on a second. As well. Because there is a certain one on here as well. Oh yeah, these movies on there. Let's take a note on that as well. How I have wanted to come by to research on these as well. Accordingly, about most movies that are available on those like movie film pack sets on here. Let's say, for example, like I have this copy of Boot Hill starring Terrence Hill and Bud Spencer on DVD. Because I think this was probably available in those spaghetti western movie film pack sets on DVD as well that Mill Creek have gotten available recently. Even though I've already done a movie review on this a while back. I never knew that this is available in those movie film pack sets from Mill Creek Entertainment as well, particularly. As far as I know. Oh, as well. Well, there are many obvious bargain DVD sets on here. Many one of them out there in general as well, particularly. Of how I wanted to come by for this as well. Yeah. As far as I know, particularly is how I want to come by for this. Yeah. That's how I was... You wanted to know why, particularly. Well, there are many obvious DVD ones on here. Like, especially the ones that are also available on these complete series DVD sets. Like the ones that were burned onto DVDs that slapped on with a VHS rips that were taped off television. Like something that you can find one anywhere, but only available on similar stores like Monsterland Media online, particularly. Yeah, because there's many obvious ones on DVDs that were ripped straight from VHS rips that were taped off television and slapped on with the TV logo on that one as well. Excuse me. Because there is a certain way of how I want to talk about a particular series on here. Say, for example, like I have this DVD of Kung Fu The Legend Continues Volume 3, because this is actually a burned on to DVD discs on here that were ripped straight from television on these VHS rips and slapped on with these, like, I believe it was with the TV logos on there, like the ones that were shown on television that were ripped straight on these VHS rips on there. And that's far as I know, particularly. And they basically have how they wanted to using like these DVD artworks on there, especially that are rips that are burned onto DVDs from Redata, which is those printable DVD-Rs on there. Yeah, because these are the ones that is, well, particularly the one, because this is maybe unofficial. This may be an unofficial DVD, but it's apparently of how you can come across for this as well. This is how they're slapped on with the TV logo on there as well. There's many obvious Blu-ray, printable Blu-ray R, or printable ones, like the burned onto Blu-ray discs. More similar to burned on to printable DVD-Rs on there, on most of these, whether it's under TV shows or a movie on there. Especially, you could find them on, like, Monsterland Media online as well. Yeah, there's a bunch of those on there as well. For preferences I have as well, particularly as well. Hell, many of these DVD discs that are also available included on there under some music CDs on here, that ranges from some jewel cases to digipack CDs on there. So if it's a 2-disc set to 3-disc set on one as well. Take note on that under CDs as well. Some DVDs that are available on those as a bonus on some CDs on here. Take note, for example, like I have the Best of Pantera CD on there. This included a bonus DVD with all the music videos and a live concert ones. And same goes with my Kiss Sonic Boom CD, especially that came with a bonus DVD, the Live in Buenos Aires one. Those are the basic examples of how they were slapped on a DVD, of how the CDs were slapped with a bonus DVD discs on there included. Anyways, back to DVDs, on the other hand, there's mostly of these other ones on here, like, say, for example, like, where does the ones on here? Well, there are many obvious ones on their DVD releases on here. Most of them I have been basically upgraded to Blu-rays on here because I've always wanted to get into the whole upgrading movies to Blu-ray game since 2017, particularly. Whether it's under a movie on here, whether it's under the genre, whether it's actually a martial arts movie, a comedy, or a horror movie, or there's also some anime on there as well, because despite I have a whole ton of anime, like behind me right there, there are many obvious ones on here. Despite I have particularly of how I have those ones on here, as far as I know, what I can remember is, has ever occurred to any of this of what I wanted to come by on how I want to go through genres by cataloging as well, because that'll show my preferences of how I wanted to do these as well, accordingly of how I can learn over the fact of how. But which it does remind me, I really got to get back into maintaining the physical media collection on here, where I can talk about CDs and that came with a bonus DVD discs for the most part in another video discussion. Which it all has got to me though, which we'll talk about that in another time in another discussion video. Anyways, back to where I'm saying about genres under DVDs or VHSs, VCDs, or Blu-rays. There's many of them on here. I only have for the fact of how I wanted to come by for these as well. To some, I'm pretty sure straight of how I wanted to do this as well. And not only that, particularly of how I wanted to come for the whole of this as well. For the whole really quick of this as well. There's many DVDs I have that are from Criterion on here under indie movies that are almost making it bigger as well. Let's take a side eye to this on here. Let's say, for example, like I have this copy of Chasing Amy. This is actually the first Criterion Collection release I have ever bought. Even though I've already shown you in my previous DVD update video, DVD Blu-ray update video in the past, this is how I wanted to come by, how I wanted to know for this. This is like your indie comedy movie on there, which is also part of the View Skewniverse on there as well. Because why not? Of how I wanted to come by for this as well. From what I'm saying about as well. And yeah. Yeah, because I have got this as well. Yeah, especially where I have like little section of my independent filmmakers that made a bigger section. Yeah, because this is how it's gotten to the thing as well. Well, there are many obvious reasons of how I wanted to come across for this. As far as I know is that mostly of how I wanted to go through cataloging every genre as well, particularly of what I wanted to come by for this. Ever since, particularly of how I wanted to come by for that, of how I wanted to realize is that this has gotten to the thing of how I wanted to figure out how and why of how you wanted to explain for the thing is this as well. Well, that's the obvious good answer for this as well. And yet, it has to expect to how it seems that of how I want to discover, particularly of how I wanted to go through genres on there. Let's take a note, for example, if you have the original Night of the Living, the original Dawn of the Dead movie on DVD, I figure it'll go in the horror section. If you have Akira or Ninja Scroll or Ghost in the Shell, that'll be in the anime section, which is basically in your anime collection as well. Where does the movie Scream go? It goes in the horror collection as well. Where does the Incredible Hulk TV series with Bill Bixby go? The superhero section, especially if you have it under Marvel as well. Where does the Man with No Name trilogy will go? In the Westerns section. Where does Yojimbo or Lone Wolf and Cub movies go? They'll go in the samurai section or in these Asian cinema on there as well. Well, there's a bunch of the Asian cinema movies out there as well. Like, where does the Shaw Brothers or his box sets go? Probably in the box sets as well, particularly, which, even though I don't even have a copy of those on there, but I would love to find those someday, because I've heard of Shaw Brothers before, because they put out these, like, glorious box sets as well. I think one of those Shaw Brothers movies on there, I think they go in, like, Asian cinema movies on there. Same goes with Bruce Lee. Where does the Bruce Lee movies go? Particularly in the martial arts movies as well. Where does the Trinity movies, with Terence Hill and Bud Spencer go? In the Terence Hill and Bud Spencer library, or in the Western section as well. Same goes with True Grit, and the original True Grit with John Wayne. I think that goes in the Western section as well. If you ask me, though, where does the movie let me guess. Where does the movie Akira go? I would say the anime, because Akira is under anime. Same goes with Princess Mononoke. It'll go either in foreign films or anime. It doesn't matter, especially if you ever go through a movie by genre as well. If you're asking me, though, where does Dog Soldiers go? I think it goes in the indie horror movie. It's on there, especially if you have it in your horror movie collection as well. Well, there are many obvious public domain horror movies on there. Those are the perfect that go in the horror section. Same goes with these Universal monster movie ones. I think those go in the horror section. Where does if you have a tokusatsu collection, and like, where does Ultraman go? Tokusatsu. Same goes with Kamen Rider series tokusatsu as well. Yeah, they have like a whole bunch of those out there as well, particularly of how I wanted to come by for these as well. The 80s movies under animation for grown-ups, like American Pop from Ralph Bakshi, and the 1980 one sci-fi anthology film from Ivan Reitman, Heavy Metal. I think that goes in the animation for grown-ups on that one. As well as Rock and Rule, which is kind of a rarity though. I wanted to come by. And where does the Raiders of Atlantis go? Probably the sci-fi B movies on there, or Italian cinema on there, especially if you ever watched any movies on there from Europe as well. As far as I know, where does the Doctor Who DVDs can be perfect for in your genre, like the time travel or sci-fi show ones on there? Same goes with, like, if you have either the original Battlestar Galactica or the 2004 reboot of Battlestar Galactica, I think that will go in the sci-fi section. Same goes with Babylon 5 as well, if I'm not mistaken as well. Yeah, because Babylon 5 is the perfect one if you have it in your TV show collection. If you could separate that and put that in the sci-fi section, that's the thing, though. If you're going to ask me for this as well. How I wanted to come by of cataloging titles under the genres, especially if you have it in your DVD or VHS Blu Ray or 4K or VCD as well, if you're asking me. Because there are many there's some movies, and there's some anime on there on 4K Ultra HD. Like, if you have some movies on 4K, there's a bunch of them out there if you want to go get it as well, accordingly. So I'm going to figure out over the fact as well, from what I'm worried about as well. So that's going to be it for my discussion about how I can go to cataloging, search through genres on their VHS, VCDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4K Ultra HDs for today's discussion video for today, you guys. Thank you for watching, but before we go, here's what I'm going to say for this one. Well, this is the first time I wanted to discover of how you can catalog through titles on here, particularly of how you wanted to figure out a way to learn your immediate references, especially if you're going through titles or by genre, especially for your home video collection on your physical media collection as well. In case you're wondering why, particularly how I wanted to come by for these as well. And yet, I have always wanted to come by for these, how you're going to catalog through genres on there accordingly as well. Hope to subscribe for content, Anime Planet, Patreon links in the description down below. And if you want to smack the like button if you enjoyed the video, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below on this video if you like as well. Just let me know. And also be sure to smack the like button if you enjoy the video. Click on the subscribe button. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, RuRoniK95. Feel free to join my channel, especially if you're new to my channel as a newcomer, especially if you're watching the channel, because I'm always start getting into the whole maintaining physical media collection, as well as because that's why I'm start getting into the Blu-rays, DVDs, as well as 4K Ultra HDs as well. Especially everything from Criterion's Kino Lorber library collections. There's also everything's on here from Region 1s. There's also going to be Region 2 DVDs. I'm also start getting into those as well, once I can get more at that some point as well. As far as I know, particularly, accordingly, for what I understand for the fact of how I've been going through the genres under the titles. And also, be sure to smack the notifications bell button. Be sure to get notified also as well for more latest updates, just to keep you updated as well. And that's all I have what I got for today's discussion. This is RuRoniK95 saying thank you for watching my video, and I'm glad you liked it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope to see you soon for the next video. Hope you have a great day. This is RuRoniK95 signing off. Thank you for watching my video, and I will see you soon for more videos. Take care.